Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are once again working on the Audi, and for those of you who are wondering about the rotary Miata and why it's kind of at a standstill, the engine mounts are giving me some trouble, and you'll see why when the video comes out. Should be the one after this, so coming soon, and don't worry about it. But today we are installing a Turbosmart. This is a blow-off valve, and I am super pumped for this because I love turbo noises. And this should help a lot, and I know there are little spacers you can get right here, which are perfectly fine, and what they do is instead of recirculating your extra airflow back into the turbo, it'll just vent it to atmosphere, which makes that famous psh sound, makes it way louder, and that's nice and all. But with this right here, which is the Turbosmarts, and there goes the O-ring. Turbosmarts version, basically what it does is, you can see right here, it will vent to atmosphere, but if in between shifts or when you don't want it to vent to atmosphere and you want to keep the turbo spooling, it will still do that. This is the dual port version, which will vent to atmosphere, but they do have another one which pretty much keeps OEM but will hold more power. So if you're just looking for a power upgrade that doesn't make the noise, there is the other version of this. I don't remember what it's called, but this one's the dual port, so whatever one's not the dual port, that's the one you want. But for me, this will hold more power if I do decide to do big turbo later, but I want the turbo noises, so I got this version. And it comes with, wiring and everything, so it's true plug and play, no problems, no engine codes, nothing. I have a feeling that this install is going to be a bit of a pain, so we're going to get started by jacking up the car and removing the under tray because it is in kind of a bad location. I'm really gonna have to just reach up there and feel around, so sorry if the camera angles aren't amazing. I'm gonna try my best to show you exactly where all the bolts are, but it is kind of deep in the engine bay. So let's get started and take off the under tray so we can at least access that area. Alright, so the first step is going to be taking off some screws to get this under tray off. It looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. These on the corners may or may not hold it off, so I'll take these off last if I need to, but I'm going to start with everything that looks like it's just attached to this. Okay, and there you go. That wasn't too bad. So I brought in a light so you could hopefully see it a little bit better, but if you look right here, that's the blow-off valve that we're trying to replace, and you can kind of see a clip right there, so that's what our new clip is gonna clip into, and we have 2 bolts that we can kind of see, and the third one is above it, which is a little bit hard to reach, but I think there's actually more space than it looks like. This camera lens makes it look like it's pretty far away and very clustered, but I can actually fit my whole hand up here, and there's a decent amount of space. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any clips of me actually getting these 2 bolts off, but when I get the piece out of here, I'll try to show you what it looks like and how everything is kind of fitting into the car. So for reference, those are the radiator fans, so that's the front of the car. So the back of the blow-off valve is actually facing towards the front, and I'd say it's about a foot up from the bottom of the car. So hopefully shouldn't be too bad, but is not gonna be as easy as doing it on a Golf where they put the blow-off valve on the top of the car. But I will come back to you in a second when I have this thing out. Alright, well I was able to get this out after some finagling. It's pretty much oriented like this in the car. So this top bolt right here is the hardest one to kind of get to. Bottom one was the easiest, side was somewhat difficult. But basically what ended up happening is I used an Allen key. for the bottom 2 bolts, and just kind of putting it in like this and rotating was enough torque to get them undone, and then I just did the rest by hand. And then I used an extension to get to the top and just kind of had to shove all the way up here. So let's see if we can see the hole. So you can see right here, that's the hole it left behind And what I was doing was peeking in from the side over here. It's hard to see on camera, but you can actually see it straight ahead. And I could see my hand coming up from here and going into the bolt from here to kind of get a better visual on if it was actually going in or not. But once we got that and we got this clip unplugged, which was kind of weird. I left it plugged in because I couldn't figure out how to unclip it from the top. What I ended up doing was throwing a screwdriver in and lifting up this tab to get it to come out. But we got the stock one out and it's time to put in this new one. I was having some trouble getting this O-ring to like seat properly, and I know some other people have had the same problem. So what I ended up doing was stretching it a little bit, and now it seats a little bit better. Or maybe I'll have to stretch it again. Looks like I am. Either that or just doing this one-handed is difficult, so I'll get back to you on that. And there we go, I just got the new one in, and I'm gonna be honest, putting the new one in was definitely worse than taking the old one out, just because the blow-off valve would not just like stick into its slot, it would kind of start falling out, so you had to hold it in while putting a screw in, and it was a bit of a pain. But the Audi is now ready to get the underplate put back on, and then we'll start it up and see what it sounds like. So I'll be back in a second after I put the under tray on, and I'm super pumped for this, so I'm gonna get going. Well, I gotta say, it sounds crazy now. Like, it's so much louder. Honestly, I wish it had a little bit more like the su-tu-tu-tu noise, not just the psh, but like, it still sounds great. It sounds kind of like a bus, but I love it. It is awesome, and I tried it in manual mode, and the point of having the Turbosmart versus just those little spacers is in between shifts. It won't let out as much air. It'll retain it and keep your turbo spooling, and I put it in manual mode, and even during the shifts, there was no brake. It felt like OEM, but when I let go of the throttle, you get this huge like burst of air coming out, and it is loud and it is awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this helped you out. Please go check out finiteco.net if you guys are interested in shirts, hats, stickers, whatever. Go support the channel. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.